Devil May Cry.
The thing about starting any piece of entertainment with a line from a poem is that no matter what your story is about, if you look hard enough, you can find a poem that relates to it. It isn't impressive and just comes off as trying too hard to look intelligent. It's like Capcom doesn't want to admit how cheesy its stories are. You might think you two would stand around gawking at a giant hell tree that just erupted from a city street, but keep in mind, this is a world where this isn't the first time this has happened. The timid Negro did the same thing years ago in Devil May Cry 3, and what followed was a demon invasion.
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah, our history goes back so far. Guy who has never been seen or mentioned in any Devil May Cry game and was a white guy in the anime.
What am I doing wasting my time here? He's got this.
I agree completely, Nero, but apparently you require 2 games where the torch is passed to you.
I've got a score to settle with that son of a bitch.
Nero is going to feel real bad about calling his grandmother a bitch later.
There's nothing we can do. We must go.
There's nothing we can do, so let's leave, then turn around once you get a prosthetic arm and come right back. Only then can we make a difference. The residents of Redgrave City helpfully ditch their cars along the sides of the road during an emergency, leaving the center clear. It took Nero a month to get back to Redgrave City after getting his ass kicked by Urizen. By this point, I think the government would have just nuked the place.
How does it feel to be rescuing the guy that killed your father?
This conversation should have come up long before now. After all, you had a hand in her father's death, even tried to kill him yourself. How much of a hipster do you have to be to have a jukebox in your van? And wouldn't the record constantly skip from the movement? God damn, I miss this series and cutscenes like this. One sin removed. Nico isn't wearing a seatbelt, so she would be thrown all over the inside of her van as it does a complete mid-air 360. Also, every single piece of equipment inside the van would be thrown all over the place, but it's in perfect order when she parks. In fact, let's just send the van itself for surviving everything it goes through over the course of this game. Just in case you missed our joke about smoking written on the road, we've made sure you'll miss it by covering it up with on-screen text. Somehow Nico ramps her van over this soldier when there was no incline behind him, lands, then brakes right and manages to come to a stop behind the soldier she just ramped over.
Why do I feel like your pet mechanic?
Are Nico and Cindy from Final Fantasy XV related by any chance? The similarities in profession, accent, and clothing style are a bit too convenient. Or does Japan have a fetish for southern tomboys who wear mini shorts?
Hey, you two! Dinner's ready!
Kyrie is actually relegated to the kitchen for this entire game. She never once appears on screen. Hoods and cloaks are never worn by anyone except when their identity needs to be concealed from the audience, not the person they are interacting with. Nero wouldn't recognize Virgil since he's never met him before.
Nero, the food's getting
Trinity, get back inside now!
It's good to see that their relationship is still built on knowing each other's names and screaming it from time to time. I wonder if Dante is regretting letting Nero keep the Yamato now.
He's waiting for us up ahead.
How would V get inside the city on foot ahead of you in the van? Why wouldn't you infiltrate together?
That's it. No more wheels from here.
This becomes one stupid line later, because Nico has no issue driving this van onto rooftops and even hell itself. I'm taking a sin off because the combat is that freaking good. Make it 2 sins, actually. There's probably no answer to this question, but how does Nico leave more arms for Nero all over the levels when she hasn't even been there herself? And why does she make Nero pay for arms inside the van, but then leave them lying around at no charge? I really have to question where Redgrave City is located. The red telephone boxes, double-decker buses, and architecture scream England, but everyone who lives here has an American accent, even the soldier.
Guess the phone still works.
Took you long enough, dumbass.
Did taking cell phones never occur during the planning for this mission? Nero and V both have to rely on payphones to call Nico. So what happened to no more wheels from here?
Your blood is a very precious sacrifice. Eating you would do me no good. I must have every last drop to rule the underworld.
So I will thereby try to smash you to pieces and kill you instead of sacrificing you to the Clypod tree.
I curse my stars in bit of grief and woe. That made my love so high, and me so low.
V keeps all of his William Blake poetry in the middle of the book. V is a kill stealer.
I expect he's not much more than Clyphod pollen by now.
What?
Clyphod. It's a tree that grows in the underworld. It thrives on human blood and...
So you guys have been planning this counterattack for a month and you never once told Nero about the tree and what it does?
Did you just sniff that? Do you have any idea where that's been?
Up your butt?
Yep, she's southern alright.
Cash first.
Even during the demon apocalypse, capitalism reigns. The amount of callbacks to previous games is too damn high. 1 or 2 is perfectly fine, but when you have lines, enemies, bosses, and then later on the entire plot being a callback to Devil May Cry 3, it's taking things from cute to retread territory. After Urizen defeated Dante, Trish, and Lady, he decided that what he really needed to do was strip the 2 girls naked and stick them inside demons. For reasons. Devil May Cry 5's boob rendering technology is 5 years behind Metro Last Light, and this sin is probably a bit outdated now that Metro Exodus is out, but until I get to that one, it remains in place.
Oh, geniuses, be careful. Yeah, no shit, Shirley, ain't that right, Pete? I mean, you are fragile at the moment. Wouldn't take much to wipe you out in a sticky situation.
Griffin is essentially Iago if he came from New Jersey. How does a demon familiar even get a Jersey accent?
You and I like to exist, so get rid of those demons quick, cause killing them ain't my stick. I got your back, cause dying is whack.
A talking bird is normally the low point of anything as a character. Add rhyming into the mix and suddenly that power button on the front of my PC is looking mighty tempting. Nico's phone number is only 5 digits long. Gilgamesh was shooting his laser at an angle, and I assumed that made the ground collapse under V. However, the whole V fell down implies that the blast did way more damage, because that is deep. Either that or the city covered up a sinkhole in the worst way imaginable. Just how? You drove the van straight up out of the ground this time. For all the crazy stuff that goes on in cutscenes, Nico and the van are the most inexplicable.
If the Devil's Sword Sparta still exists, it may very well be our only hope.
Trish brought the Sword of Sparta with her when they fought Urizen the first time, and it didn't do them much good.
You can't travel through here in a car.
There is nowhere this van cannot go. It makes me wonder why they ever get out of it. You have to wonder what it's like having the job of determining what is and isn't an acceptable level of ass crack. Once inside the Clypod tree, the level design takes a noticeable dip, with long hallways that look exactly the same and vertical ledge drop after ledge drop. It even finds time to add a little of Devil May Cry's biggest weakness, platforming. Nero is going to go home to Kyrie when this is over with some interesting new fetishes. Nico is able to get her van down inside the Clypod tree.
Hey, douchebag! Miss me?
The last time you fought Urizen, he stomped your ass hard. It's been a month and the only difference between then and now is you have a prosthetic arm. I can see why your confidence was sky high.
Urizen, huh? I bet your parents didn't like you much, cause your name sucks.
Yeah, it's not ironic enough. Go read the Kabbalah or some Gnostic grimoires and pick something from that.
I am power. Absolute.
Urizen as he is now seems way stronger than what he becomes later. Urizen could have killed Dante a month ago, but did the villain thing of letting their foe live for no reason. Now Dante's back and more powerful than ever. This is not the first time Urizen, or Virgil if you want to be accurate, has made this exact same mistake when it comes to Dante in this series.
See, she wants to invite you to her birthday party, but your phone is disconnected.
Dante really needs a cell phone. First, why would Dante need to cover his eyes with a magazine when his power is off? Second, why does Dante even have a woman's tabloid magazine in his office? And third, why did he take it with him to fight Urizen? Since Nero finds the same magazine inside the Clypod tree right outside Urizen's throne room.
I got a gig, cash up front.
Cash up front. This I like.
The cash up front part makes no sense once you learn the job was from V, who was only born 2 days ago and has no money.
Oh my god, tonight's my birthday party. Yeah, I'm turning 18. Not a little kid.
That's incredibly creepy.
A powerful demon is about to resurrect, and we need your help, Dante.
Now that's a familiar tune. Do you have any idea how many times I've heard that exact same line?
Yeah, but it's always been true, and led to your biggest jobs.
This demon is your reason. Your reason for fighting.
Oof, that hurt. That pun physically hurt me. Here's 5 sins for the cringe bruising.
This demon got a name?
The camera cuts away from this flashback before V can pronounce the demon's name, but his lips were pretty clearly forming a V sound and not a U, so I'm pretty confident Dante went into this knowing that he would be fighting his brother Virgil again. For no reason at all, they decided to hide this fact from Lady and Trish, who went with Dante to stop Virgil, and then V continued to hide that fact after everything went wrong. Nico and the van continue to survive this abuse. V can easily destroy a Clypod root just by sticking it with his cane, which flies in the face of the gameplay that requires him to find certain weak points in the root where they can be destroyed. How do we explain Dante being missing for over a month? He was just unconscious until V found him and threatened to kill him. Dante has been impaled on a sword more times than I care to count. He's pretty much immune to it. You can't trick me, game.
You need to hide, Dante. No matter what happens, you mustn't leave.
Your house is on fire and you thought hiding Dante in the closet was a good idea? Dante's hair was stained with his own blood just a second ago. After he wakes up, the blood in his hair is gone.
If you could defeat Urizen, then I never would have dreamed of using that child.
In an earlier flashback, V revealed to Dante that Urizen is Virgil. So why use the fake name Urizen with Dante now?
First come, first serve on the targets, right?
Music to my ears. Hurry up, Dante.
Dante really shouldn't let Trish and Lady run ahead of him to fight Urizen first, since he already heard from V that Urizen is Virgil. This makes the third time I fought Urizen sitting on his throne. So let's go ahead and throw in a repeating boss fight sin. I was saving that sin for the boss rush that traditionally occurs near the end of Devil May Cry games, but this is the one game where that doesn't happen. Rebellion was shattered by Urizen and left on the ground after Trish tossed Sparta to Dante. Dante was then sent flying out of the Clypod without ever recovering the rebellion, but he still has that sword on him later. Dante must have to work hard to repress his Oedipus complex, since Trish was made to look like his mother.
Dante, that demon is...
Don't reveal the twist just yet.
Take care of Trish for me.
Dante was going to leave a naked Trish in the middle of the road until V showed up. Where did V find that modesty blanket to cover Trish?
In order to defeat his younger brother, he could only do one thing with the crumbling flesh and feelings. He needed to separate man from devil with the strength of the Yamato.
Since V already shared this info with Dante earlier, why has he been so secretive with it until now? It apparently doesn't matter if people know the truth about him and Virgil, so the only reason for the secrecy was to keep the player in the dark.
I'm not your mommy, V.
Well, that situation is complicated. V is the human half of Virgil, and Trish was made in the image of Virgil and Dante's mother.
Over the years, I've been stabbed and jabbed by a number of things. But who would have ever guessed?
Dante didn't know his family home was still intact under the Clypod tree, and he certainly didn't need to stab himself in this location with a broken rebellion to activate the Sin Devil mode. He could have done that right after V woke him up if that was the plan. Urizen is what I like to call power level strong. His strength is incredibly generic and he's capable of defeating main characters just because the plot calls for it. There is nothing about the way he fights that makes him a bigger threat than some of the other demons Dante has fought over the series. Nico must have had one of Lady's spare outfits in her van.
Where did that garbage god go? What is Urizen after?
There is no reason for Dante to keep calling Urizen by that name at this point. Even the game has given up the twist.
Whoa, you are the infamous Dante. I'm Nicoletta Goldstein.
All of the women who are into Dante have one thing in common. He killed their father. I'll allow this, though the Michael Jackson estate might file a lawsuit. Is there any reason Lady and Trish are stuck watching the van with Nico? They are badasses in their own right.
I'm gonna go my way, and you guys can go yours.
Dante says this, but then they all jump off the same ledge that would lead them to the same location. And then once they meet up again, they all fall through the same hole in the floor, yet end up in different locations. If there is one weakly written character in this story, it's Malphas. First she wanted the Sword of Sparta, then she tried to strip V of his demon familiars, then tries to kill V directly before being killed by Nero. V may be crumbling to dust, but he could still send his demons to help Nero fight Malphas.
I remember a stinky little pooch just like you.
This is a case where the repeated boss fight spans across 2 games.
The thing you don't know is, she tried to save you too. She kept searching and searching. Until I killed her.
And this would have been an excellent thing to mention to Virgil back in Devil May Cry 3. Virgil is about to eat that apple and become the king of assholes.
That's ridiculous.
The brothers of blood disagree on the very reason of their existence. They must fight.
You see, Nero, they kind of have a heavy-handed Cain and Abel analogy.
No, please, let me. I want to end this battle with my own hands.
I mean, he's only your brother and you defeated him, but sure. Let V, whom you know to be part of Virgil, deal the last blow. What could go wrong?
We are one and the same, you and I.
You and I are one and the same cliche, though this may be the most accurate use of that line ever. Virgil gained a bit of a dad bod. He looks like he's about to ask to speak with the manager.
Heal your wounds, Dante. Get strong. After that, we'll settle the matter.
The matter has been settled twice before though, first in Devil May Cry 3 and then again in the original game. Virgil seems to be the type who continues to call for a new game until he wins and doesn't count his losses.
Isn't this?
He's your father!
I'm kind of disappointed that it wasn't the guy who looked like a Star Wars character who mentioned this to Nero.
Now he needs an ass kicking. But I can't have you go kill your old man.
Dante sure does offer to kill people's fathers for them a lot. None of the nations of the world see this and are launching the nukes.
That day if our positions were switched? Would our fates be different?
Generally, yes. Switching who experienced what will change the outcome.
My dumbass brother's back and I'm gonna rip him a new one.
Virgil's... How?
I don't know, Trish. Maybe it had something to do with what V told you about himself and Urizen being two halves of the same person.
Made it for Lady and she paid for it, so consider it a rental. Hey, you can't just...
Okay, we'll take care of that later.
I mean, it's not as if she's going to get to use it in this game. Nero, you have a grappling arm. Getting into the van shouldn't be an issue.
How many times have we fought?
Hard to say. It's the only memory I have of us since we were kids.
That one time in DMC, though, doesn't count.
Nero is my son. Yeah, dumbass. You can't remember through that thick skull of yours?
Well. That was a long time ago.
Any discussion of Nero's mother, perhaps? Or are you saving that for the next game? Because I honestly can't see Virgil sleeping with anyone but himself. There is not a chance in hell this payphone still works. It's suspended in the branch of a demon tree thousands of feet in the air and is halfway destroyed already.
I couldn't protect Kratos. To this day, I hate myself for not having enough strength.
Oh yeah, that memorable character. Who would have guessed Kratos' death left such a lasting impression on Nero that it would drive him to keep both Virgil and Dante from killing each other? Demon puberty.
Whatever you call yourself, Dante's not gonna die here. And neither are you.
I hate to break it to you, Nero, but you seem to have forgotten that your dad is responsible for the deaths of untold thousands of people. And this isn't even the first time he's done that. I think some punishment is warranted.
If I beat Nero, then by default, I beat you. Agreed, Dante?
Whatever. I don't really care. I'm just gonna sit this one out.
Dante is too old for this weeb shit, and that's saying something. I'm gonna take a sin off for powering up by flipping the bird.
We need to sever the Clifod roots from the underworld itself. Then we'll seal the portal with the Yamato.
Hang on. If you do that, you can't come back.
Both Virgil and Dante have been trapped in the underworld and supposedly couldn't come back, but then they did. You aren't fooling me, Capcom. Even you don't believe Nero can carry the franchise on his own without Dante.
So, how's it feel?
How's what feel?
Saving the man who killed your own father.
Dialogue that ironically turns the same question back on the one who originally asked the cliche.
Devil's
not
cry.
crying.
Devil's cry.
I'm not gonna
Devil's
cry.
cry.
Will you
Yeah.
shut
Roll
up?
credits.
Will you stop it?
Roll
Ugh,
credits.
you're-
Oh, they are.
Don't you dare say it's jackpot!
天上太阳红呀红彤彤哎，心中的太